So, you've got a couple of things, and we're going to talk about those couple of things using this PowerPoint. But if you can't see, you have the PowerPoint already, so you can take notes or whatever you want to do. So, here's our purpose today. Our purpose today is pretty simple. It's to make sure that we're all on the same page, okay? Because I think a lot of times at church, the leaders know what's going on and nobody else does. And so, this is to make sure that everybody is on the same page, and to make sure that we all know what's happening here at Markle UMC. And so, hopefully you have those two handouts. One, you'll be turning back into me eventually, and I'll explain that one. But those handouts are there. Also, we're videoing this because we have a whole bunch of snowbirds who aren't here. And so we're going to make sure everybody knows. Okay, so if anybody's not here, they're getting a DVD, and I'm going to write them a letter telling them what's going on. So that way we're all on the same page moving forward, and we can be united in this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with like a review of where we're at church and things that have been happening and changes we've made, things like that. Then we're going to look at the ad board, because under our single board structure that we're in now, you, the people, are voting yay or nay on whether or not we want that ad board to be the right people, okay? So we'll get to that. We're going to talk about who our leaders are going to be this year in different ministries. And then I'm going to explain to you how the board system works, because we kind of all need to know that. And then we're going to kind of do some review from this morning on our different opportunities we have going on, and I'm going to tell you all about those. So hopefully I will not take too long, but you never know. So, all right, so here we go. Here's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with a comparison between last year and this year, okay, for a few important numbers. So first is our worship average, okay? Last year, in 2015, we averaged 97. This year, we averaged 100, okay? So, we're growing, right? It's a good thing, yeah. So, we're growing in our worship attendance. Professions of faith, here's a little tricky one, is 11 in 2015. This year, none. Yikes. Okay, so that's part of our outreach and mission focus that we're going to be talking about this year, is to make sure that that number stays up, because that's the whole point of why we're here. We're here to people will know Jesus. And so that's one we need to work on. Number involved in mission stayed the same, mainly because we haven't done a very good job of tracking who actually is in mission. So we just kind of guess. And so that's one thing we're going to do this year, is track that a little bit better so that we know where we're at as far as how many people are doing outreach and doing mission. We're going to keep a better track of that so that we can know. And then finally, our giving this year did increase over last year, which is a good thing. Because the more we have coming in, the more we're able to spend on ministry, and the more we're able to give. And so that is a very, very good thing. So that is where we're at right now. Now, we did grow a little bit, okay? So growth only comes through change, all right? And so if you stay the same, I forget what that quote is, but basically if you do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same thing over and over again. So here are the changes we made this year. First off, we have been moving forward on FCJ stuff. Okay, so we've been progressing through, and we're almost done now. We've just got a couple things left. We've got to finish up our discipleship pathway, and that's about it. Like, there's not a lot left. But we've been moving forward on that all year. We moved to single board shortly before I moved here, and so we started on that, and we're kind of implementing it for the first time this year. Then we got a new pastor, okay, so that's different. We completed the youth room project in the bathrooms, so that is good to go. And we got a new family ministries director in Joel, right? So those are some of our major changes that we've made in this last year here at Markle. And so we do have more changes in the works. One change this year is that our financial secretary, Connie, is no longer our financial secretary. And so Pam is now our financial secretary. So I wanted to make sure to note that.
Connie's not done.
Connie's not done, right.
She's our treasurer.
Right. So here's how it's working. Lisa's still our finance chairperson. Connie is going to be our treasurer, who runs the reports and all those things. Pam is financial secretary, and then Kelly is still doing the books, so she's still keeping track of everything and things like that. So it's just, we're trying to clean things up a little bit, make things easier to access and things like that. And so I think it will work out very well. But I believe those are all of our major changes we've had in the last year. Which, to be fair, if you look at that list, that's some big changes, big changes. And so I wanted to make sure everybody knew what those changes were. So then, this is the nominated administrative board for this next year, okay? So, under the new system, the way this works is, this board is the ad board, and so they function as all of our major committees. So, finance, trustees, pastor parish, and nominations are these people, okay? The ad board functions as all of those things. And so, to do that, what we've done is, we have taken 3 people who we think are well-minded on those specific things. So for example, Dave Bonner, Steve Douglas, and Gary, all 3 of those guys we feel are very savvy when it comes to trustee issues. So we specifically have those 3 guys on there because we feel that although they contribute in every area, they especially are good with the trustee stuff. So that when this group does trustee work, we have 3 people specifically who are very good at that issue. And then Lisa, Connie, and Andy are all our finance-minded people on the board. And then Jean, Joyce, and Kurt are our pastor parish-minded people. And so this is our ad board that will meet once a quarter. And so these are the people who are nominated. I think this is a great team. I think this team will give us a very good start for 2017, especially since it's our first year functioning in single board. So really, what I need from you guys is a yay or nay on whether or not you approve on these things. Here's what I'll do. If we have an issue that you don't think somebody should be on there, we'll just have everybody from the ad board who's here leave. That way we're not pointing out specific people, right? So, do we want to have discussion on that, or do you want me to just propose a vote and we vote on it? Vote? Okay, sounds good. So, how about this? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, well that was easy enough. Okay, so that is your ad board for this next year. Now, the change in single board doesn't just change who's doing what, but it also changes sort of what exactly, what specifically they're doing. And so, these guys are our big picture vision people. Okay, so next year when I come to you, this is going to be a vision that's been developed by not just me, but by the whole ad board. We're working together to develop it. And so they're working on big picture and things like that. This team, the staff leaders, are paid and unpaid staff members. Basically, these are the people who are leading the day-to-day ministry that's happening here. And so, you see, I'm the pastor, Joel's Family Ministries. Barb Nevius is our missions team chair. Cheryl Plumley is hospitality. I'm leading up a new team called Member Care, which we'll talk about. I'm leading up a discipleship team. Stephanie Davis is our worship team leader. Leslie is our prayer team leader. Brandon is our grounds team guy. Ethan is our media team leader. And then Sue as administrative assistant. And so, these are all of the ministry teams that we're working in. Okay, so when you volunteer, it's going to be in one of these teams. Okay, one of these team leaders is going to head you up and lead you. And so what will happen is these guys are kind of in charge. Okay, and so we're going to go over how exactly that looks right now. So there's 3 key things you need to know, because the big thing in this system is it's holding everybody accountable. Okay, so you can't hold a committee accountable, because if a committee doesn't accomplish something, you can't fire a whole committee. Okay. However, if there's somebody to be held accountable, that person, you can get a new person if you need to. Okay. So our accountability things hold people accountable to one thing, and that's this: the mission. Okay. The ad board focuses on the mission, the staff is focused on the mission, and you guys are all focused on our mission. Do you guys know what our mission statement is? Anybody?
On the bulletin.
It is in the bulletin. It is. Our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Okay? That is our mission at this church. Part of this switch is, that's our focus. Every decision we make is going to be based on, are we fulfilling our mission? Are we meeting our goal to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world? Are we doing that? Our decisions are not going to be based on how we feel or what we like or don't like. It's based on, are we meeting our mission? And so all 3, the ad board, the staff leaders, and the congregation, are all focused on the mission. Our goal is our goal, and that's what we're shooting for. The ad board takes care of the boundaries and the vision team. Okay, so essentially here's how churches normally work. The ad board functions as like a permission team. So anytime you want to do something, you go to the ad board and you ask if you're allowed to do it. Okay? However, that's time consuming because then you have to get the ad board together and you have to wait and nothing ever gets done on time. So here's what this system does instead. Instead of telling you what you can do, the ad board tells you what you can't do. So the example I'll have for you here in a second is like a basketball court. Okay? In basketball, the referees don't tell you how to shoot. They just tell you where you can't go. Okay? They set up the boundaries and you have to stay within them. As long as you stay within those boundaries and follow all the rules, you can do whatever you need to do to make a basket. Okay? So that's what the ad board does. The ad board determines what those boundaries are. So those boundaries, they are in finances. So we'll say, you stay within your budgeted amount. If you're going to spend a certain amount, there's these rules, that kind of stuff. There are rules on morals, obviously, doing things that God would want you to do, not doing things you shouldn't do, being ethical, and then also with our theology. If you're teaching, you're making sure to teach things that we believe and not some random stuff. And so the ad board does that work. They determine what those boundaries are, so the staff team, once they know their boundaries, can go and do the work. They've been pre-authorized. As long as you're working to complete the mission, you can do whatever you need to do to complete the mission, as long as you stay within the boundaries that have been set. And so what that means is, if we need a new toilet, Brandon doesn't have to come to the ad board and ask for a new toilet, because he looks and says, it's in my budget, I can go do it. And so he just does it. And there's no need to have a vote on whether or not we need a new toilet, because let's be honest, we all know we need a toilet, okay? So, there's no reason to discuss it, right? We're just going to do it. So the ad board determines those boundaries, and then they also do the visioning. So they determine where our church is at, where we need to go, that sort of thing. That's up to the ad board team. So then the staff leaders are the day-to-day ministry people. Okay, so the stuff that happens here every day, it's going to be up to our staff to make sure those things are still happening. So, for example, in our missions group, I'll be working with Barb to make sure that we have missions opportunities frequently and that we're doing missions and outreach this year, locally and internationally everywhere, and to make sure that we're still doing missions. So they do the actual day-to-day work, and then you guys are doing the work of ministry. Okay, so they're leading you, but you are still active and involved and working to make these things happen. The ad board is led by the chairperson, which ours is Steve Nevius. The staff team is led by the pastor, and in the congregation, you guys are led by the staff leader of whatever team it is you're volunteering on. Again, if you're volunteering for like the grounds team, Brandon is heading you up, and so if you have a particular expertise in something, let's say you're a really great plumber, Brandon knows that when he needs plumbing work done, he's got a list and says, oh, well, such and such is a plumber, I'll call him. And so then they lead you guys. So here's how the accountability piece works. I, as the pastor, have to set goals every year, okay? I have to set goals, and I have to turn them in to the ad board. So the ad board is holding me accountable. They say, these are your goals, and when they do my review at the end of the year, my review is based not on whether they like me or not, but on whether or not I'm meeting the goals I'm setting, whether or not we're completing our mission here at the church. And so they hold me accountable. So then my job, for example, this year, our mission this year is to do a lot more outreach and mission. So for me, I have to go to our staff team leaders and portray that and say, this is our goal this year. How are you going to meet that goal? What is your team going to do so that we can do better outreach and mission? And so the ad board holds me accountable. I hold the staff leaders accountable. They hold you guys accountable, because we have to be willing and able to come to you guys and say, hey, we don't have enough volunteers for children's church or whatever it might be. And we need to work together to fill in the gaps wherever they are. And then you guys get to hold the ad board accountable, because if the ad board's making decisions and doing things you don't like, guess who gets to vote on who is on the ad board next year, okay? So that is how you guys are holding them accountable. We're making sure that we're all working toward the good of the church and not towards the good of specific individuals. The ad board will meet quarterly. The staff team leaders will meet every month, and you guys will rarely ever have to meet. That is our goal. Okay, so there are certain ones that we'll have to meet on a little more frequently. For example, if you sign up for the ideas section of the missions team, you're going to have to meet because you're going to have to do some brainstorming and come up with some new ideas that we can reach out with. But for the most part, you guys aren't going to have to meet very often. We'll do this meeting, the State of the Church. We'll do this every year, just so that we all are on the same page. We know where we've been and where we're going, and so that way we all know. But that is, in a very quick nutshell, how this works. And so this is what it looks like. Here's my basketball example. Okay, so the ad board determines what our mission is, right? Because this is Indiana, so we play basketball. So our mission is to score a basket, right? We want to score as many points as we can. So to do that, we have boundaries. We're not allowed to go outside of these, okay? So you have finances, morals, ethics, and theology. So the ad board determines what those are. Okay, so for example, if I remember correctly, in our finances, the number one rule is don't overspend your budget. Okay, but there are also other rules. So for example, if you're going to spend more than, I think it's if you're going to spend more than $750 at once, you have to check with the treasurer first to make sure the money's there. If you're going to spend more than, I think it's $1,000 or $1,250, you have to have board approval. Okay, so if you're going to get a big purchase, you still have to get approval for it. But for the most part, I don't know of any of our teams needing to spend way more than that ever. So for the most part, the ad board says, as long as you're within your budget and when the money's there, do what you need to do to complete this mission. And so what it works on is a system of trust. We put aside all the old thoughts on each other or whatever, and we just trust each other. We trust that the people leading the teams have the best for our church in mind, and that we're all on the same page, we're all working toward the same end and the same mission. Okay? So we trust each other because ultimately, we are all trying to make that basket. We're all trying to complete the mission of our church. That's why we're members here. It's because we believe in what this church is doing. And so, we work together, we stay within our boundaries, and we can do whatever we need to do. So, does that, in a very quick nutshell, does that make sense? Yes? Okay, good. Okay, good. So, now comes your part, which is your volunteer opportunity sheet that all of you got. Okay, now, you're going to have to work with me because I kind of forgot to put a name slot on it. So, and I don't think I want just random sheets coming in. So here's how this is going to work, okay? On your ministry team sheet, can I see what it is? On your ministry team sheet, it tells you right at the top, I need this back by February 1st, okay? Because here's what's going to happen is, you are going to decide what you want to volunteer for this year, what you want to be involved with, okay? So it's simple. You write your name at the top, and you check the boxes that you want to help with, okay? Now what will happen is, Sue and I will compile this list of everybody in our church. We'll compile the list, and we will give these to your team leader. So for example, in the Family Ministries team, if you want to help with Kid Connect, and you want to be a youth Sunday school teacher, you click those two boxes, and when you get it back into me, I will give Joel a list that has your name under Kid Connect and Youth Sunday School, which I know Joel will appreciate, right? Because then, Joel, as the team leader, he already knows everybody he has who wants to help with that. And he can get all of you organized and put in place and plugged in wherever you feel you can best fit. So, for the most part, most of these are pretty self-explanatory. Some of these are added in that are a little bit different than what we've done before. One, under the worship team, the prep work, as far as filling candles, getting communion stuff, changing out the paraments, all that stuff. If you'd like to help with that, we could definitely use a hand. So make sure you sign for that one. Another different one, the big care that has different ones is member care. Because we haven't really done this before. It's been, a lot of the churches I've been in, it's been expected that the pastor is going to take care of all the members, but nobody really organizes to make sure that we're taking care of each other. So, if you would like to be someone from the church who does hospital visits or homebound visits, or you want to be a card sender, or what's called I'm calling it my re-invitation team. Basically, we use Power Church now to do all of our attendance, and so Power Church lets me print a list of anybody who's missed more than 4 Sundays in a row. So, what you would do on that team is I would give you this list once a month, and you would look and say, okay, who hasn't been here in a while? And we would just send them a card or give them a call or something to let them know that we're thinking about them, and then we miss them, okay? And let's see what else is on here. Oh, on the ground section, Susan and Bruce are kind of in limbo right now because of some different family stuff going on. So, if you want to help with the gardening, that is on there as well. If you live in town and want to help do the church sign throughout the week, change it for me every once in a while. That's on there too. The rest of it, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. So, essentially, what we'll do is every year, every January, these are going to go, well, actually, probably every December, But these are going to go out every year, okay? So every year, if let's say you sign up for a team this year and you think, well, that was great, I didn't want to try something different next time, do that. Sign up for something different next year. And so every year you're going to get an opportunity to sign up for different stuff. Now, I'm not saying you have to sign up for different stuff, because I totally don't mind if you want to do the same thing like 95 years in a row, okay? Consistency, I like it, all right? But the nice part is, if you do want something different, it's here, okay? So this is every opportunity, I think, every opportunity that our church has to volunteer is on this list. So make sure you get it into me by February 1st. Put your name at the top, and I can compile all these lists for all of our team leaders, so that in February, they will be ready to go and know who's volunteering for them. And that way, we can also know better where we need volunteers filled in, and we can let you guys know that too. So that is that. All right, so our focus this year is on outreach and mission, because that, from what I can see, that's the real piece that we're missing. We've got a great setup. We've got a great hospitality team. Our worship is great. Everything's in place. Now we just got to go out and get people. Okay, we got to go out and tell them about Jesus. And so that's our focus this year. So the one thing we talked about this morning was the Community Pastors Project, which I'm very excited about. And so here's what that looks like. First thing you're going to do is you're going to pray regularly for everybody on the street that you signed up for. Okay, you're going to pray for them. You're going to make contact with them at least once a month. Okay, at least one time. Say hi, something. Make contact with people. Get to know people on your street. Now, I do want to say, because I didn't really make this clear this morning, I'm not asking you to go and preach the gospel every day. Okay, we're not taking like the Jehovah's Witnesses route here. Okay, what we're doing is we are forming relationships with people. Okay, we're making friends. We're getting to know people. Because the thing is, we care about our community, but they don't know that if we don't go show them. And so we're just going to go out and we're going to care about people. We're going to care about getting to know people and praying for them and taking care of them. So we're going to make contact with them at least once a month. Casually slip in where you go to church. Okay, if you adopted a street that isn't your own street, that might be like the one way to like open things up for you, is to just be obvious. Because otherwise, like, if you're going to have a barbecue with some people on the street and you don't even live on the street, it might be awkward, like explaining why you're inviting them over. But if you open up with, hey, I'm Chad, I'm from the Markle UMC, just wanted you to know, have a barbecue, love you to come, that kind of thing. Gives you like a free pass almost. And then just let them know you're there for them. So if they need anything, maybe you get like a little card, write your phone number on it or whatever. Just let them know if you need anything, let me know. We'll take care of you. So then, and this is, I think, my last thing. So our equip classes, we all need to be trained. And the one thing I've heard over and over and over again from people is, I just don't know how. I want to volunteer, I want to help, I want to do this, I don't know how. So this is my solution to that. And I'm teaching all of my Africa Pastor classes here. And so second Sundays every other month at 1 o'clock. So I listed all of them for the whole year right there. I have 3 years worth of stuff if we do it at this pace. I have 3 years worth of stuff. So what that means is, let's say you can't make it to the evangelism class this time around. Well, in 3 years, you can catch it again, okay? I know, I'm planning on being around a while.
I hope so.
Or at least until you get tired of me. That's my plan. These classes are going to be great. They'll last about an hour and a half, roughly, because they take 3 hours to do in Uganda, but they have to translate them, so it takes twice as long. This is something that myself and my pastor put together, this training program. We put it together, and essentially what we did was, we said, what is the bare basics you need to know to be in ministry? What is the absolute bare basics you need to know? Because, there's a lot you need to know, but what you absolutely have to know. And so that's what these classes are, okay? And so we're starting with evangelism. I'm going to do leadership in April. Old Testament 1, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, is in June. Bible study, which is how to do Bible study. That's in August. Preaching is in October. And the New Testament, which is the Gospels, is in December. And so those are our classes this year. So I hope that all of you will take advantage of these. I'm very excited. I love teaching these classes. And they're going to be very, very good. So I hope it's kind of serves a dual purpose. They work as a discipling thing for you. You learn, you grow, but it will also better equip you to go and to do ministry and to do ministry effectively. And so those classes are going to start next month in February, the second Sunday. So I hope to see most of you guys there. I think Yes, I think that's it. That's all that I have. So I thought it might be a good idea, if you guys have questions about anything, now would be a good time to get them out.
We have prayer group on the list twice. Does that mean that the vision has its own?
I'll do it.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the second half of the page.
Oh. You know what it was? I was trying to reorganize my paper. I was trying to reorganize my paper so I could fit everything on there, and I didn't realize I didn't delete the other one. Yeah, so either one of them will be the same prayer group. Yeah. Anything else? Joel, how about that? Start over here.
I don't know how it fits in with what we're doing, but I'm wondering, are our finances meeting our budget?
Are finances meeting the
The
budget?
money that's coming in.
Yes. Is the money coming in meeting the budget?
That would be yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So there.
You know, we never hear,
Mhm.
and if we know there's a need, maybe we encourage us to up our tithe.
Sure.
And I've never heard it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will make a note of that and include that on my slide next year.
Thank you, Lisa.
How is this arrangement going to affect the checking accounts going to handle that?
How's it going to affect what?
The checking accounts, the trustees had an account, and I don't know how many others.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Most of those should stay the same because on our ad board, let me see if I go back far enough here. There we go. Okay, so on our ad board, we do still have chairmen of each of our committees. So Dave Bonner is our trustee chairperson, Lisa is finance chair, and Jean is pastor parish chair. So all those separate checking accounts, they're still there, and they're still going to work the same. It's just going to be kind of like a tandem thing. So for example, with the trustees one, Dave and Brandon are going to work together on those sort of things. So Dave will handle like big project, remodeling, that kind of stuff, and Brandon's going to do more of the day-to-day, making sure the church is being maintained.
Okay, what committee is going to be in charge of supplies, if you need supplies out there in the kitchen?
Yes, Sue and I are working on that. We've been kind of doing it as a team, but we've also had some help from Brandon, or we're getting at the hardware store, getting some stuff through the hardware store here in town too. So we're kind of working together for that. So for the most part, if you need anything inventory-wise, let Sue or I know, and we'll make sure to get some.
Well, there used to be a list out there, if we needed something, we put it on there, Zach would pick it up
Mhm.
someplace. Is it still out there? I didn't know.
It's still out there. Is it still out there?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yes.
It is, Sue? It is still out there? Okay. Okay, so the supply list is still out here. Okay. Okay.
For the equip classes, is there an age limit to that?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
What was the question?
Is there an age limit on the equip classes? Anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, on the lay speaker, do you have to be certified through the conference to fill in that, or?
On the sheet?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. To be like an official lay speaker of the church where we file you with conference and stuff, yes. But as far as I'm concerned, if you want to get up and give a sermon on Sunday morning, let me know. All right. Well, I hope this has helped you to kind of see where we're at in every aspect, to give you a full picture of where we are and where we're headed. I have high hopes for this year. I think we have good leadership in place for our first year as a single board system. I think we have great people at our church who are willing to go and do and try different stuff. And so I'm excited to see what happens this year. I'm excited to see how things go. And I'm anxious to see next year when we look back at this again and look at this year to see the changes that have been made and the number of differences and things like that. And so I'm very excited. I think we have a great base we're working with.
Are all the Methodist churches going to this, or is this just our church?
The single board? Yeah, it's usually a suggestion in the FCJ process. Yep.